Well, as you can see from the background, we are in a back bay. We're here on Lake Cadillac in the Cadillac area. Today, we're going to be fishing with a good friend. He works part-time over at the Pilgrims Village, which is also a great friend of the show's. We're going to show you a really fun early season bass, pike, whatever else bites, but we're targeting bass today. Stay tuned. I think you're going to like this show. Can you believe this? Anywhere in the world, this is world class.
We're up here on in the Cadillac region here on Lake Cadillac, fishing for bass. In a small cove, we got throwing topwater right now. It's early in the year and the fish are stooling up in here, and it's a little weedy bay where they spawn. Depth out here in the center, about 7 to 8 foot. And normally the big bass hang out around in here. Hopefully we'll find out here soon. Okay.
There's fish around.
There's fish around. Yep. Another small, that one almost looks like a female too. A young female. You know, she's swelled up. Yeah, there's one on the old Cinco. A little bit bigger.
Jump down there and I'll lip him for you there, Tony.
Yeah, about a 14-incher, you know.
Yeah, but he hit it good.
Yeah. Nice and fat, man.
Oh yeah, and he took it. He wasn't iffy about it.
No.
Beautiful little fish.
Yep.
Start of a good day.
There you go.
You know, half of early season bass fishing is just figuring out where they're at, and then that helps you for the progression throughout the whole year.
Yep.
We'll get this little guy back here. Good job, Tone. A little bit of rubber action, that's perfect.
Lake Cadillac is a lake that has, it's very easy accessible. They've got 3 public launch sites on it. The depths in the lake run anywhere from up to 30 foot. A lot of weeds, a lot of weed areas, weed beds, humps. Mitchell is the average depth in Mitchell is only about 15 foot. So therefore Mitchell's better on the largemouth bass with all the weeds that grow in that around there, and Cadillac is better for smallmouth. I think the fish have gotten a lot better, the fishing on especially on Lakes Cadillac and Mitchell here with the catch and release program going on. People are releasing more fish and therefore turning the fish back in to be caught again another day. There in the 80s, it was starting to go downhill, and now it's really come back for the pike and bass, and the walleye are just starting to catch on. They've planted walleyes here. It's really growing a lot, and I think it's just a conservation of it that's helping out a lot. Oh yeah, that's a little better, yeah. Oh, there's a big one behind it.
Is there?
Yeah, See that big one falling right behind him?
Hang on, I see it, I'm all over him. I'm gonna drop in it. Good job. This is a really nice fish,
Yeah?
Tony.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna fish that.
There we go. I don't know if he's working a bed or not. Bottom of that tail is a little worn. Might be from last year. That's definitely a big female. Flipping the wacky right up under the dock. Just hooked the Cinco wacky style. Well, I got him hooked right in the roof of the mouth in a perfect spot. We normally like to start out. I love top water, so any place I can throw top water, I love to throw that. And this time of year, you got to throw it really slow because the bass are a little bit colder, the water's colder. Then we move into throwing some plastics, mostly Cincos. Throw them either Texas rigged or wacky style. We ended up using the wacky style, seems to work pretty good, either weighted or weightless. And then we also throw some crankbaits. We throw some rattle traps at them and spinner baits that work almost as well. Yeah, they're moving up on them beds. Probably the first day that they moved. Look at the size of that belly on that one.
Look at that fish. Beautiful job.
That is a
right there.
A 3+ there.
That is a beautiful fish.
Yep. I was just random casting where we got all these beds up on the next to the bank, and I must have hit one right on the noggin, a nice one with a wacky style Cinco up there, no weight, right up next to shore. Beautiful fish. They're spawning, getting. They're starting to make beds. We've had a couple of them chased off beds, so fun to catch.
This segment is brought to you by Crestliner Boats, forged with strength, defined by durability. Additional considerations provided by DNR Sports Center.
So when you come to Lakes Cadillac and Mitchell, you'll want to bring your whole arsenal with you. This lake has got a lot of different structure diversity, and it has the ability to fish it many different ways. You know, you can fish spinner baits over top of the weeds and on weed edges. You can fish the shallows with weightless Cinco style worms, you know, whether it's a 4-inch weightless on a Gamakatsu hook, or whether you Texas rig it if you get into a little bit more weeds. If you want to fish docks, there's all kinds of ability to fish docks. There's just tons of docks on these two lakes, and the bass really, once they get on docks, as most bass fishermen know, they can become really easy to catch. Topwaters is probably my single favorite way to fish, and you've got lots of weed beds here with just a little bit of water over the top of them, and you can basically take that presentation throughout the whole season just by going ahead and going to the bays where the circumstance is right. This bay here this spring had all kinds of beautiful topwater ability because it's a real shallow bay. But you can get a little bit deeper bays later in the summer where the weeds still push up with either close to the surface or within a foot or two, which gives you a great topwater bait. Lakes Cadillac and Mitchell give you a fantastic ability to fish whatever way you prefer if you're a bass fisherman.
I thought you said it was a walleye for a minute.
I mean, I was reeling my line in to go make another cast, and I mean, I was burn reeling it. You know what that means, Tony?
Yeah.
These fish are turning on.
He was chasing.
These fish are turning on.
Yeah.
I mean, because that was serious speed I was using.
Yep.
It's a nice fish,
That's
too.
a nice one, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that is a nice one.
And if everybody at home notices, I'm not going to get clubbed for long without changing presentations, because I went to Tony's Wacko style, and I'll show you exactly what that is, guys, because this has been putting fish in the boat. Now, I left my weight on, but I just center hooked it wacky style.
And sometimes that weight, or with or without weight, will But that wacky style is what
is the results, for me at least, of adjusting to what the guy in the front of the boat is teaching you. Listen, it's good to diversify your presentations in the boat, especially if you're like practice fishing for a small tournament or something, or a large tournament. But when you're out just for fun fishing and one guy catches 2, 3, 4 fish and you don't, you just got to look at what he's got on and realize it's not always that the guy is a better or worse fisherman. Sometimes presentations are the key, are they not, Tony?
they are. Don't be afraid to hook right on what he's got on.
Exactly.
I tell my partner that all the time.
Gorgeous
And he
fish.
tells me if he's catching them, I've been stubborn sometimes and said, no, I'm not putting one on.
Yeah, and I'm telling you what, these lakes, Cadillac and Mitchell, they're sister lakes, they're connected by a waterway. They are fantastic fishing year-round.
Loaded with bass. Loaded with bass, just like that one right there.
Beautiful. Now that's fun. That is fun. I see him.
Yep, that's a nice one.
I'm right up here behind you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
He ain't giving up easy.
Oh my goodness,
Nice one.
that's a nice fish.
Oh, that is a nice one. Look at that.
Look at that.
That one's a 4.
Yep.
Awful close. Yeah, maybe 3.5.
Nice fish. Nice fish though.
Here we are still using the wacky Cinco. I've got a 5-inch Cinco on. Look at how fat she is. That's a big old female. Over 3-pounder. Just random casting where it looks like there might be a bed. They're just starting to make them. Beautiful fish. The lakes around this area, in the Cadillac and surrounding areas, they're not really big lakes. Cadillac and Mitchell being 2 of the largest ones. Misaki over in Lake City is a large lake around here. But there are a lot of weed lines in them to fish. They're all great fisheries. I fished them all a lot in my tournament fishing as well as fun fishing. You know, we'll go out and target pike, the bass, the walleye, the specks in all these surrounding lakes. And the weed lines is where they're mostly at, right along the edge of the drop-offs, in the 6 to 12 foot range where you catch most of them. Later on in the year, you have to actually go some deeper when it gets late in summer. But then in the fall, they really load up on the shallows.
There's a nice fish. Guys, this is a spot. I'm pushing spot lock because I don't want to get any closer to it. There's
one
fish
just turned on mine,
surfacing.
too.
Oh yeah, he's got one too.
I got the baby.
This is a nice fish. Yeah. We're on spot lock right now with a motor guide, and right behind us, towards this point, we are sitting on an entire cluster of new beds.
These beds are just in the last day or 2.
Yeah, these are brand new beds. These are unmolested fish. It's not weekend yet. This is the middle of the week. You know, this is what scouting does, you know, and Tony fishes a lot, and he's retired, and that's great for him, but man, for a guy like me, this is fun all day long. We're gonna let her go back. You know, fishing shallow water early in the season with soft plastics may be one of the most fun ways to fish. I mean, number one, some of the fish you see, I mean, they're right there. They're either starting on their beds or they're already on their beds. And yes, you have to be a little careful to catch those fish and immediately release them back in so as to not disrupt them too much. But the presentation is so enjoyable. I mean, I was using a #1 gamakatsu with a 5-inch worm, just a regular old sinking worm, and I was flipping it out and it would just flutter to the bed. And sometimes you'd flip it out and literally you'd see the ripples going away from where you cast it and your line would just start swimming the other way. That, guys, is a pretty good indication you got a bite. And that's what I love about the shallow water presentation. it's like hand-to-hand combat. When you set the hook, these fish are alive. These fish are just acrobatic immediately, and it's just a very enjoyable way to fish.
Additional considerations provided by Offshore Tackle. This segment is brought to you by Strike King.
You know, today was one of those fantastic fishing days. For bass guys, it's what you wait for all winter long, is that bass opener, right around opener, where you know the fish are in and the fish are on. You know, the Cadillac region in general is filled with fantastic fishing. You could have done the same program up on Missaukee Lake, on the outskirts of Cadillac in the little town of Lake City. You know, you could go to any number of real small inland lakes, bluegill lakes, what we refer to them as, which in the spring are just fantastic for small lake bass fishing. This is just an amazing place to fish. Cadillac, Mitchell, the waterway in between, the diversity. Largemouth today. Next year we'll probably be walleye fishing or northern pike fishing or crappie fishing, bluegill fishing. All of those are amazing fisheries right here in this little ecosystem that we know as Lakes Cadillac and Mitchell here in the Cadillac region.
Love it when they jump.
You know what I love? The patience we used. We came through this bay this morning. We literally did 3 full circles around this bay and lost 1 decent fish, caught 2 like this. Didn't bail, didn't do anything radical, knew the fish were here, waited them out, weather changed. We changed a little bit of our tactics and a little bit of our speed, correct, Tone?
Yep.
And that was exactly what they wanted. Just because you go through a spot that you're pretty sure has fish and you don't catch them, give it time, change, don't do the same thing and get the same 0 results, change things up. Well, we've got the right fish here now. Out in front of the boat, just displaying nicely. It's the one thing about bed fishing, and that's what we're essentially ended up doing today. We didn't know they were on the beds, but until we got here, is the males like to defend the beds, but boy, you get it right on a female, she's not going to leave it alone. She's going to take it. It's right here, Joe.
Oh, that
is a nice fish.
That is a good
That
fish,
is
bud.
the female that we are looking for.
That's the one, bud.
I'm going to try to bring him right to you, Tone.
Got it.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, right, man. Nice one. Beautiful.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, baby.
That's the one. That's the one you caught that male off in that same bed a little while ago.
Yeah, and she followed it out.
Right.
I
followed
didn't.
right on out
I
the
at
boat.
first didn't even see it, and then you guys said, "Oh, look at the big one with it."
Right.
My
That's that same one.
goodness gracious, guys. Tony, that is just
That is beautiful.
crazy stuff.
Good job, dude.
Cadillac,
Good job.
Mitchell,
Bass.
the Cadillac area, bass,
Springtime
walleye.
bass.
Last year's show, bluegills beyond belief, sunfish.
Yep.
Just an amazing fishery. Hey, if you guys are looking for a fantastic vacation spot, a place where you just can't swing and miss, you're going to hit something. The Cadillac region in the central lower peninsula of Michigan. Every time we've come here, we've done well. We've done really well. Hey, this is John Bergsma with the Fisherman's Digest. Tony, thank you, man.
Been a pleasure, man.
Thank you,
Been a
man.
pleasure.
It's been a fun show. Check us out online. Check us out on Facebook, fishermansdigest.com online or at Facebook. This has been fun. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week. Hey sportsmen, John Bergsma here in the kitchen with my son Chef Grant, who's got a really good fish recipe for us on those days where you've practiced catch and release, whether it's largemouth or smallmouth. Grant, it's a unique recipe. What do you have for us?
Well, I went to our local grocery store, picked up some cheap catfish, and a lot of people are afraid of that because it's cheap. Like, oh, it doesn't taste good. But no, you can make anything taste good as long as it's fresh. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna make a little wash with our vitamin D milk. Then we have pepper, crushed red pepper, cayenne pepper, salt, garlic salt, and we're gonna throw that all together, mix it up, throw our catfish in with that, and let that sit for about an hour. If you're in a rush, you can do 30 minutes.
So it's almost like a marinade and a wash at the same time.
Yep. And then let all those flavors seep in. When we bring it back out, we're gonna put it in our Drake's batter that we got going on here, and then we're gonna throw it in the pan.
Sounds good, and you're going to cook it with just some regular vegetable oil, almost like a deep fry recipe, but in a shallower pan.
Yeah,
correct?
it's actually vegetable and olive oil.
Oh, so it's kind of healthy
mixture.
for you too.
Yep.
I got it. And what we're going to be doing today for the side is we're going to do a potato hash, and a potato hash is something that we eat in our family quite a bit. We're going to go ahead and take our already cooked potatoes. Now you can either steam these or you can do them in the microwave, but we've done them in the microwave for about 3 minutes. Rough chop those along with rough chop button mushrooms, red onions, red bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, and orange bell pepper. That's to give it a really good healthy turn as well as some really nice color.
Yeah, and
fry that up really good in some real butter, correct?
Give you the
And
crust.
leave it in until it gets a good brown to it, because that brown, I know when you cook this stuff for us, it's been really flavorful because of how brown the outside of it is.
You wanna smell the food as you're cooking it.
Exactly. Well, stay tuned here. We're gonna put this together for you here today, and I think you're gonna like the results.
Alrighty, the catfish is ready to come out. And what you do when you take out your catfish, or any fish, is put it into a bowl or container with paper towel at the bottom. This lets the grease drain out without making a mess. You can just throw that paper towel out right when you're done, and also it gets some of the excess grease off that you don't want to eat yourself.
It's kind of cool. And I've got this hash that's been working here, and it's looking amazing, and I'm going to go ahead and shut the burner off to that, also to the oil.
Yeah, once you see the smoke start coming up, either turn your heat down or turn it off if you got the color you want.
Right.
Yep.
If you let it sit, it gets a nice crust on that bottom layer, and then you can toss it a couple times and go right to the plate with it.
And it's also good if your fish isn't ready, you can cover it up.
Exactly.
Let it sit there.
This
to hold
holds
its-
great.
Yep.
This holds great.
And there you go.
Closed captioning provided by the Quality Inns of Escanaba, Manistee, and St. Ignace on US 2 in the eastern Upper Peninsula.